Russell back with Gwinnett Lawns in beautiful. Oh, sun's coming up. Atlanta, Georgia. Today is, what is it? It is October the 20th, 2025. And would you look at this? Frost on the ground. So currently at my house, it's this location here because of that ridge. See, there's a ridge, the Alcovy River's right down there. I'm in like a cold bowl. So the temperature at my house usually is about 6 degrees colder than it would be at the top of the neighborhood. There's about a, I don't know, 40 or 50 foot elevation, maybe a little more rise to the top of the neighborhood. But the cold air settles here. That ridge goes all the way around and makes it a little bit colder. I don't know if you can see on some of the houses, not mine, but there's frost on the shingles. So I want to talk about something today that has been on my mind. It bothers me a little bit, maybe, but this is this whole weekly versus bi-weekly service schedules. And oh boy, can this open a can of worms. So I'm going to first off say that 99% of my accounts are bi-weekly. If I had my way, I would do weeklies. And part of the reason is because 99%, I'm going to say 95% of what we cut around here, at least in this part of Georgia, is Bermuda. I have Bermuda. I've got some yards that are centipede, a couple zoysia yards, and then the rest is weeds. Some of the backyards that I do have fescue, but that's kind of rare. The big fescue yard that I used to have used to be a weekly. I don't have that anymore. The owner died and they sold the house. So Bermuda, this yard right here, my yard, I cut it once a week. I need to cut it once a week because I don't irrigate it, but it is fertilized. So in May, June, July, August, maybe a little bit in September, it grows really, really fast, especially if we have a lot of rain. So it is obnoxious to try to make a bi-weekly Bermuda yard that has grown up 6 inches look nice and pristine. It just don't happen. But I'm going to tell you my problem. This is my problem. I have never been able to get people to convert from bi-weekly to weekly. It just, I don't know. I watched a lot of videos and, you know, people are doing, I mean, I don't do super high-end yards. I do upper middle class yards. I have some that are just, if you can see my neighbor's yard over there, it's just stuff like that. People just want the grass knocked down. And that's fine. There's a place for that. But I have, and this is the question that I want to ask you guys. What is your advice? I'm asking for advice. What is your advice on trying to convert bi-weeklies to weeklies? Now, I can lay out all the advantages to the homeowner, but this is what they end up going back to, is they said, well, if you're going to charge, like I charge $99. That's my minimum now. If you're going to charge, we'll just say, we'll use that. We'll say $100. If you're going to charge $100 to do bi-weekly, then if you want to do it weekly, they want me to charge $50. They want the price cut in half because you're doing it twice as much. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. Now, I do understand that some people will charge a little less for weekly, but not half. That's just not. Or consequently, if somebody's doing a weekly yard and they want it done bi-weekly, it's a little bit of an upcharge, but it's not double. So specifically for you guys that are in Georgia or in an area that cuts warm season grasses, probably, well, I want everybody's opinion. I need some advice on how to convert these customers. Now, it's not an option to say you're going to go weekly or you're getting, because I'd have one customer left. Okay? I mean, I only have one weekly right now. Now, the other thing is that I'd like to point out is when you are doing, as you well know, when you are cutting in the middle of the summer and it has rained, sometimes you got to double and triple cut that thing to make it look halfway decent. I can't charge more money to do that. I can't say, hey, you owe me 50% more. That's just not, the customer, they're not going to go for that. So it's harder on the mower, it's harder on me, it takes more time, it makes my hourly rate go down. So I'm just looking for advice. I know that you guys that do northern grasses up north, that cut a lot of fescue and rye and, the stuff that has to be cut every week because it grows 10 inches. That's just a thing up there, I guess. It's just, I don't know if you guys would even take a bi-weekly, but yeah, that's one thing that has really bothered me. I would love to be able to do weeklies. Now, the other thing is when we get rainouts, okay, and it just ruins the whole week. Now, that yard that I used to cut every 2 weeks, now it's going to end up being a third week worth of growth, and it gets horrible. It gets obnoxious. That is one of the reasons why when I got that Super S, I had them put that 850, that Kawasaki 850 on there, because I'm going to tell you that the 600s, these that are on the Trim Stars are phenomenal engines, but when I'm having to cut super overgrown Bermuda, I have to go over it and over, even with the great blades that are on there. It just doesn't have enough power sometimes. For stuff like this, those mowers are perfectly fine, but for stuff like that, yeah, I would cut it with the Trim Stars, but I would have to, you got to go over it a bunch of times, and the more times I have to go over the yard, the more money it's cost, or the less my hourly rate is. It's just costing me time. So we don't want to do that. So that is my question. What is your advice for trying to get my customers to switch? Now, the other thing is, and Johnny with Upscale, he's had a lot of videos about converting customers to 12-month accounts. So I don't do contracts, and basically I made a mistake a couple years ago as the mowing season would wind down on or about the middle of November. I would ask the customers, do you want me to keep coming back on schedule to take care of the leaves? And almost all of them said no. Now, did they end up taking care of the leaves themselves? Some of them did. Some of them let the leaves just blow out of the yard. But what I found is that I just keep coming back as the grass starts growing or stops slowing down on the growth and the leaves are falling. I just keep coming back until probably December, till the leaves are gone. And nobody says, well, I'm not going to say nobody, but I probably will say 25% of the customers will say, hey, the grass isn't growing, I'll see you in March, kind of thing. But the others that have heavy leaf coverage on the yards, and if you can see the leaves, really, they started dropping a little bit, but a lot of these oak trees still have all their leaves. But I keep coming back on schedule. So that has worked out very, very well. So that's a tip if you have customers that have a lot of heavy trees that have a lot of leaves that fall. Try just continuing to come back, and if they tell me to stop, I'm obviously going to stop, but I will tell them, hey, if in the spring it's going to be a leaf cleanup charge, what can you do, right? But it keeps me busy through the winter. But I do want to try to convert, especially in, I'm going to say January, February at least. I would say most of my customers are 10-month accounts, but I would like to convert them over to 12-month accounts. And a lot of them, I saw one of my customers in the grocery store. He goes, "There's only one more cut left, right?" And I'm like, "Sir, the grass is still green. He wants to get off that. He wants to get me off the payroll." So, and this yard gets full of leaves too. But with these temperatures that we're having in the high 30s, low 40s. This Bermuda will start to go dormant pretty quick. You'll start getting tiger stripes in it, and then we'll come out one day and it'll just be manila colored. So anyway, that's what I wanted to ask you guys, if you will give me some advice and tell me what you do or what you think I should do, trying to get these customers to maybe to come over to a weekly service, or maybe some tricks. I don't know everything. I'm gonna tell you that up front. I don't know everything. But anyway, I do know that is absolutely beautiful sky. All right, so I will talk to you guys on the next video.